up, Spurs Nation? Before we talk about a little bit of that post game, I want to just start off by saying Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope that you had a good one. I hope you had a really good Christmas. If you're gonna eventually, because no one's in here yet, but if you're going to join in on Christmas, like join in to on this conversation on Christmas Day, I have to say you are truly a true Spurs fan. And I'm sorry about I'm sorry about the lighting, but obviously I'm driving at night, so yeah, you can barely see me. But yeah, I do want to say what's up to everybody. I hope everyone had or is having a Merry Christmas. I hope everything is all good in the hood. What's up? I think this is Daniel. I'm sorry. I'm like, it's kind of hard to see. Merry Christmas, clan. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, King Kenneth. Merry Christmas. What I was gonna say was, first off, before we get started, if you really want to give me a Christmas gift, join the Flick group chat. Okay, links below. First link. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened, but what I was gonna say was, if you truly want to give me a Christmas gift, please join the group chat. First link below. You just click that, join. Like I said, everything's good in the hood. But yeah, so I want to talk about just a little bit of the last game, just to give my overall thoughts on it before I get home. So my overall thoughts of the game is the San Antonio Spurs looked like the bubble Spurs. And the only issue that I saw, which is a good issue to have, is that there's one player that still has to find his place, and it's not just him alone, it's the Spurs trying to find his place, and that's LA this season. Now, me personally, where I think LA fits in with the team is be a role player until we need you. Now, I know that sounds like crazy, considering that he's been a star in the league. He's been at one of the top power forwards in the league ever since he's been drafted. But with that being said, I also realize that when I look at when I look at this team right now, it's not structured for a back to the basket LA. And if he can take more of a role-playing role, as in, pick and pop, just get open for three, shoot, middies, play good defense, rebound, and be that star caliber player when we need you, as in maybe fourth quarter, the young guys just can't get it together as far as on the offensive end, and now we need you back to the basket. Now, I know that hasn't necessarily been his thing because he needs to ball early, but if we can somehow do that and fit him into that role, that will be wonderful. It's similar to what DeMar DeRozan is doing right now. Even though DeMar DeRozan put up like 28 points, it was the most quietest 28 points I've seen in a good minute. And really that was due to him picking his spots, not forcing anything, and for the most part shooting when the Spurs needed him in certain moments in the game. And that's all we need from LA. So if he can put on that role of being a good defender and even try to bring his defensive caliber up to Jakob level, that will be huge for us going forward, because we all know you have to start LA, okay? He is still a threat. Teams have to plan for him, so you can't just say, oh, he comes off the bench. But I think that will be huge. I think it will be huge if he can take on more of that role-playing role until we need him. Another thing that I wanted to mention, I was very happy that I was wrong. Merry Christmas, Ruru. I was very happy that I was wrong. I was wrong about Keldon, okay? I was wrong about Keldon. I said that Keldon wouldn't play much last game, and I was as wrong as I could have possibly been. The fact that they went ahead and started him speaks volumes of how great of a player he is already. So that's awesome. Hopefully we see that going forward, even when when Derek White comes back. So I'm really happy about that. Another thing, people wanted to mention Dejounte Murray, and some people said, see, you were wrong about Dejounte Murray. And I will say this. I think Dejounte Murray had a wonderful game last game. but I haven't really changed my opinion as far as him not being the point guard on the team. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's a trash point guard or he's the worst point guard in the world. No, I still think that as far as our options at point guard, Dejounte Murray is the second best option, period. And the things that he did last game, I don't see him not being able to do those things if you moved him to shooting guard. You know what I mean? Like, the great defense, finding the open guy, but being aggressive on the offensive end, driving to the back. Like, that's the type of stuff that he doesn't necessarily have to be the point guard to do. Now, I did notice that oftentimes, and I'm not just trying to critique, I'm just saying, based on what I saw. And I'm going to get to that, the Vassell. I see you, what does that say? Sport. I can't see your last thing. It's kind of blurry. I'm sorry. It's because it's nighttime, but it's kind of blurry. But anyway, what was I saying? No, I was just saying that oftentimes when I see Dejounte Murray, when he's passing the ball, sometimes it's a tad too late. And I think that's because his first instinct is to score always. And he doesn't necessarily see plays ahead of him like certain players do. Like certain point guards do. Not just any player does it. Like it takes a really good point guard to do it. But with that being said, I think Dejounte Murray did great last game. I mean, great. I think that he picked his spots pretty well. I think he played very good defense, and I will be extraordinarily happy if he can take on a shooting guard role once Derek White comes back. And I know a lot of people say he should, run the offense off the bench and run point guard position off the bench. That's not going to happen. I don't see that happening whatsoever, to be completely honest with you. I just don't see that happening. I think he has to start. For his mentality, it's just certain players that just kind of have to start, and I don't think they'll be as effective off the bench. And I think he's one of them. Derek White is capable of doing it, but I think if that contract has told us anything, is that they believe in him for the future. And he can do both, like off the bench or start, either way. But I would assume that Derek White will start with Dejounte. But hey, it doesn't have to be that way. Derek White, like I said, he'll be fine coming off the bench. He can deal with that. He's just that type of player, Always been underrated his whole life, and he thrive in whatever position you try to put him in. So he'll be okay with that. Now, Vassell. Now I want to go ahead and mention the Vassell situation. So you're not the only one, Sport, in the chat that said that Vassell had a bad game. I will argue that Vassell had a very effective and good game. Now, initially when he was out there, I was like, oh my God, because he didn't look nervous, but he definitely looked a tad bit lost initially when he got on the court. Okay, just initially, because you could tell the pace was faster, you could tell the competition was a little harder, and he was a little. He was pushed back and shocked just a tad bit, okay? But as the game went on and I saw more of him fighting for rebounds and one thing that I noticed in particular with Vassell, if you look at his stats alone, and I even said this in preseason, but if you look at his stats alone, you would say that he did not have a good game. But if you actually, pay attention to certain things that he was doing a lot of the intangibles. Like, one thing that Devin Vassell did that was huge for us was and I can't remember I know it was like, I think it might have been third quarter. I can't remember how much we were down by, or not down by, how much we were up by, but it was a really big three from Patty Mills that basically helped us build that momentum, okay? So Devin Vassell fought for the rebound, the offensive rebound, tipped it over to Jakob. Jakob actually ended up getting the rebound because Vassell was fighting for the ball. Jakob got the rebound, and I believe it was Jakob who passed it out to Patty Mills for the three. So he was doing a lot of things on the court. Not only that, he looked comfortable. He was playing good defense. He was getting in the lanes. He was getting in his man stuff, right? Pause. But still, that's what he was doing. He was playing great. And the stats aren't going to show that. And not only that, he was letting the ball fly when he had his opportunity. He let it fly, no hesitation. He had confidence in his shot. He just didn't knock down at least one of the shots I remember. But overall, Vassell played a good game. He did not have a bad game whatsoever. Keep in mind the fact that they didn't play him as much as they played him in the preseason. If he would have got the same amount of minutes in the preseason, he might have been fine. And the reason why they didn't play him as much, which is a really, really positive thing, is two reasons. The fact that he got playing time at all is huge, okay? Let's go ahead and, get that out the way right now. The fact that Vassell got playing time at all is huge because, and I'll tell you why, because number one, Keldon Johnson came back. All right, so Keldon Johnson came back. Keldon Johnson played tremendously. And then on top of that, you stack on top of that, Rudy Gay had a really solid, good game. And we didn't see that in the preseason, but Rudy Gay had a very solid game. So the fact that Vassell was even still able to play at all and affect the game in a good way when he was out there speaks volumes of him. So I think that instead of seeing it as a negative for Vassell, I think you should see it as a positive. It was a big deal that Vassell even got to play to begin with. When you look at those circumstances, like it was a totally different circumstance. So it was huge. Yeah, and Trey Lyles, I've mentioned that King Cannon said Trey Lyles didn't play trash. That's another thing. He took Trey Lyles minutes. Trey Lyles technically should be ahead of him on the pecking order. He took Trey Lyles minutes, so that's good. That's a good sign as well. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say Trey Lyles is trash, okay? I'm not going to do it. I think when it's all said and done down the road, we're going to need Trey Lyles. One thing that I am worried about but it's going to be fine if we keep our identity. But one thing I am a little worried about is the three-point shooting. Okay, I don't believe we had a bad three-point shooting game by any means last game. But like a lot of people have pointed out, who's going to be that guy? Who's going to be that Brent Forbes, that can go on a run? And honestly, I know that we can say Patty. Patty can do it somewhat, but Patty isn't and this one thing we need to keep in mind, Patty isn't a three-point shooter. And I know oftentimes we see him as that. We see that Patty Mills is a good three-point shooter, and we say, yeah, Merry Christmas, Cody. But we see Mills as that. But honestly, Mills is not a three-point shooter. He can be pretty streaky at three if you give him the opportunity. He's good at a lot of things on the court. He is such a solid player. I would argue that Patty Mills is kind of a overall player, all-around player, all-around point guard. Honestly, I think he's a good defender. I think he's obviously he can't really rebound that well, but he's a good, good shooter, good passer, high IQ, offense and defense. He makes little mistakes. Like Patty Mills doesn't make that many mistakes when he's on the court. So I would argue that Patty Mills is definitely a all-around player rather than a straight-up three-point shooter. Okay, so I'm just saying we got to keep in mind that it's going to be pretty tough, thinking about who's going to be that guy. But with that being said, I think that the positive thing here is that basically every young guy we have, apart from maybe Dejounte Murray right now, and let me think. Yeah, apart from probably Dejounte Murray, can shoot threes fairly well. Like Derek White can shoot threes fairly well. I think I feel like Lonnie Walker is slightly a better three-point shooter, but he would also probably take more than Derek. Keldon Johnson is a good three-point shooter, and Vassell is showing that he has no problem letting that thing rip from three. So maybe those guys will compensate for the lack. I know that we want LA to compensate for it. That ain't going to happen. If I'm just being completely honest, LA is not going to compensate for the lack of three-point shooting. It's just not going to happen. But yeah, I think that we're going to be all right in that regard. And what else? Let me try to think. I'm thinking of any other takeaways I had from that game. Just overall, man, I thought it was a good game. I thought that we went back to the bubble Spurs, and that's exactly how we're going to have to play if we want to beat these teams. You got to be solid, you have to be consistent, and you have to be tough. And Keldon Johnson, I will argue that Keldon Johnson is the heart of that defense. And as far as right now, as it stands right now, without Derek White being there, I would argue he's the heart of the team. Now, obviously, we're going to probably put Patty there because, off-court Patty's amazing. He's awesome. Gets the guys riled up. He's all about Spurs way, all that good stuff. But I would argue that right now, as it stands, while they're playing, Keldon Johnson is the heart of the team. I mean, everything is just so much better when he's on the court. And not only that, he's the best scorer around the rim we have. And that's including Jakob, that's including Dejounte Murray, and I would argue that's even including DeMar DeRozan, because the amount of touch he has around the rim is better than all those guys, in my opinion. Now, don't get me wrong, DeMar DeRozan is a much better like post-scoring guard, slash small forward. Like he's a better post scorer, but I will say that I feel like Keldon Johnson is better around the rim. It's like he can go full force at you, but then while he's in the air, he just lets it. He has the best touch around the rim. That it's like if you give him a little space around the rim, the ball is going in. Period. So I think that that's what makes him effective, is the fact that he's strong, he's smart, he's a good three-point shooter, so you can't leave him out there. He's a good driver. He plays good fundamental ball, great defense. And then with that being said, those are kind of the same qualities that you see from Vassell. Some of the exact same qualities. So this team really does look good this year. I think now, I know it's against Memphis, and some people have pointed out it's just against Memphis, but you got to keep in mind the fact that you say it's just against Memphis, but keep in mind that a lot of teams were saying the same thing about us just last season, that it's just the Spurs. I know that we still have in our minds that we're great and we're like, top-notch San Antonio Spurs championships. Yes, we're awesome. We're amazing. I love this franchise, but at the same time, you got to keep in mind other teams don't see it that way, and they had no reason to see it that way last season, the way that we came out there and we played. And the fact that we didn't make the playoffs, I'm pretty sure Memphis Grizzlies fans were sitting there like, come on, man, it's the Spurs. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind. But we got a lot of talent on this team, a lot of talent on this roster, and the fact that the young guys have basically grabbed this team and said, this is our team now, we're taking over, is huge. This is a big deal, and I'm extraordinarily happy and excited for what's to come this season. Also, anybody that joined this live stream, please, I know that it's Christmas, and if you really want to give me a Christmas gift, number one, like the video. That's number one. But number two, please go down to the description box. I have in the description box the link to the group chat, the Spurs group chat. We got, as of right now, we got 870 people, I think. Like 870. I'm trying to get to 1K in the next couple weeks. So if you guys could just join that app and just join the group chat. It's really cool. There's polls, quizzes. And as of right now, actually, Flick is doing a grand prize of like $2,000 when you bet on certain games. So that's on the chat. But I'm also doing a giveaway for a Fiesta shirt from RGTV or RGTZ. And he's gonna give away a shirt. I just collab with him so we can do that. But yeah, you go on there, join the chat, and when you scroll down, go to the giveaway, and you'll see what everyone's doing. Everyone's just dropping pixels in order to enter for the giveaway. So yeah, join that. You're not gonna regret it. Trust me, you're gonna love it. It's awesome. Booyah! Go do that for me. That will be my Christmas gift if you guys did that for me. So number one, like this video. Number two, go join the group chat. Link below. First link. Yeah, and that's that on that. But yeah, man, the game was great. I was happy with it. I was content. I hope everyone had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Christmas day. I hope that you got everything that you ever wanted. I hope that a lot of you got a PlayStation 5. I know that, you know, not everybody can be as lucky as me, who had to pre-order it and go to a GameStop at 3 a.m. with like 8 available. But I hope that, you know, somebody in your life managed to hook you up. Even though I know it's like virtually impossible right now. But yeah, man. Like I said, I really appreciate all the love. I appreciate everybody coming through. Thank you so much for checking out the channel. I'm actually heading up to, I'm going back to my folks' house right now. So I'm kind of like pulling up right now. So, and it's cold as I don't know what outside. So yeah, I'm going to have to get off. Like, there's no way. But yeah, I'll get with you guys later, man. I really appreciate all the love. I appreciate everything that you guys do as far as checking out the content, liking it, sharing it, subscribing, all that stuff, all that good stuff. And like I said, join the group chat. You know, enter some giveaways. Do what you want to do when you get on the group chat. But I'll get with you guys later. I love the love, and I love Spurs Nation. I'll get with you guys later. Till next time, deuces.